less than 10% of the total of the GDP at current prices for 2014-15 estimated in the budget documents. And one of the things that he has been repeatedly mentioning is that we should increase the tax GDP ratio. It was well above 10%, 11%. We have come down to below 10%, both this year as well as in the previous year. Previous year we had the GDP of 113 lakh crores and our tax collections were only 10 lakh crores. Again, less than 10%. So this is one very important aspect that we should keep in mind, because unless revenues are going to come in some form or the other, either tax revenues or non-tax revenues, all the list of expenditures that he has read are going to be a problem. And when we come to indirect tax, the ratio of indirect tax to direct taxes or the total taxes has been maintained at around 45%. Maintained the status quo as was projected in the interim budget as far as tax processes are concerned. I just want to make 2-3 points and then I leave the floor to Mr. Shankar. One of the things that we talked about earlier also was on retrospective amendment. That nowhere we have got retrospective amendment in direct taxes. But if you see in the indirect tax law, whether it is an enabling retrospective amendment or a non-enabling retrospective amendment from 13th of April 2010 to equate pan masalas with kimam, jarda and other packing processes, a retrospective amendment has been made from 13th of April 2010. The only retrospective amendment that I could see in the context of indirect taxes. The other interesting thing which also came up was, and we should watch this, that for the first time in the budget papers, there is a section called clarifications, both on the customs side as well as on the excise side. Maybe to protect themselves from the CAG, so that it is part of the budget documents. But whatever it may be, I think the trend that has also been initiated, namely that we will have a high-powered committee and that committee will periodically review and advise, and based on its advice within a period of 2 months we will have clarification on the indirect tax side, I think is a good development, and if it is again implemented properly. One of the things that came up also was when Mr. Mishra ji, as an economist perspective, was mentioning that tax policy, should it be influenced by other considerations other than tax considerations? Maybe political considerations, health considerations which he was mentioning, or even policing considerations. If you look at these three aspects of political, health and policing, I will give one example each and finish. You take the example of political considerations, or what we call the inverted duty structure. FICCI, which is one of the participants, produced a document in October 2013 of 83 cases of inverted duty structure, out of which few have been chosen for the purpose of being addressed in this, as though the rest are all of no consequence at all. And one of them is crude palm oil. The Supreme Court judgment was there in Josil's case when the previous UPA government, and people fought tooth and nail to see that particularly soap manufacturers, ethanol manufacturers, glycerin manufacturers. Today, as soon as this budget has come, you find that in that chapter 38, the duties have been brought down to zero. And one of the important changes, whether it is political or non-political, you will find all the chemical group getting the best of advantage. Similarly, you will find on the health issues, whether it is the 5% on the Pepsi and the aerated waters, or 11 to 72% on cigarettes and tobacco. Should tax policy be used for the purpose of influencing other considerations? And lastly, policing. Merely because we are not able to stop the manufacture of these sell-at credit invoices, we are now saying that these will have validity of only 6 months. After 6 months, you cannot take credit.